won.
Cool with that too.
So, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but it has nothing to do with all of you. Hi. We're talking about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is running for president of the United States. Will the Democrats let him challenge Joe Biden's? Go. Anthony, go.
Well, the Democrats already said that they're not going to allow primary debates. They said they're not going to do it.
No debates?
No debates.
Because there's already a sitting president, so why? Okay, go ahead now. You could talk.
I already threw away the key.
Okay.
He was polling at 19%.
He is. No, his campaign has support. So and he just got started, right? He just announced within a month.
Yep. He does. He's very articulate, but his voice is very
whack.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, he had a surgery, I think, on his throat.
He's gonna lose. He's gonna
Is that
lose.
what it is?
They got
Throw him under the bus.
Wow.
Sounds like Val Kilmer.
If humans don't like his voice, they're not gonna win. No matter if they're saying the good shit.
Yeah, you think?
Sound more like
Do you
Obama.
think so?
I think people don't realize how stupid most Americans are.
Oh.
They'll choose a president based on
I believe
looks.
people when they do this.
Yeah.
They choose him on like, oh, this guy looks taller, he's cooler looking. We're gonna choose him.
To be honest, when I'm voting and then it comes down to the other people, not the presidents, I just vote for sometimes the person that I heard of more.
That happens
Which
all the time.
sucks, but
Like the people that they get their name recognized the most. That's why they campaign like with the
marketing.
banners.
It's the signs everywhere. I'm like, I saw that sign hella lot of times.
yeah, and I hate that.
He
I
must
do
be a
it.
good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even fill those in if I don't know anything about them.
So RFK Jr. suffers from spasmodic dysphoria, which causes his voice to quiver and makes speech difficult. I think he still gets through it pretty well.
He gets through it. It's still very easy to hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh shit, there's
What does
something.
it sound like? Do an impersonation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, do it. 4 scores and 7 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Do this with your fingers. though.
Yeah,
Do this with
you
your
do
fingers.
this.
An old radio voice.
4 scores and 7 years ago. You know what I miss? Is I remember, wasn't there like a standard, not transatlantic, but there was like a standard political speech and a radio speech? I want people to speak like that again, that are official.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
like back in the
He
day.
goes,
But it's because of the way that the radio picked up their voice, right? It like pitched them in a certain way.
Yeah, like the Hindenburg broadcast.
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say though that when you compare even speech though with RFK, at least you can still understand what he's saying. Whereas Joe Biden, he speaks kind of regular, but you still.
Oh,
don't know what he's
dude,
saying.
it's such a.
Oh, you're gonna talk about a president like that, dude?
Where's your hat?
That's
bro?
his
Get your hat
president. No, I threw it all away.
out. Aw.
Yeah.
Why you gotta
We
make it awkward, dude? We're supposed to be hive mind here.
We don't have Biden hats.
We're the woke team, bro. We're the woke boys.
Hey, dude, woke boys.
Did so Biden lost a lot of his previous support, right? Based on his
His popularity's pretty low.
Yeah, it seems like it.
how low you think?
His negative rating is above his positive rating. So that's pretty bad.
But every sitting
Is that a real
president,
metric?
every sitting president toward the end, it's always
It's always like that.
I don't know one president in my lifetime.
Even Obama.
Obama was like
That's-
that. Oh.
Really?
Yeah, he was popular like the whole time, basically.
Okay.
Everyone
well,
loved Obama.
I mean,
Because he was cool.
His disapproved Biden is 52.3. His approved is 42.7%.
I've never seen a video of Joe Biden going paddleboarding, but I've seen Obama go paddleboarding, and that makes me feel like he's an everyday man.
Just a guy. He's a guy being a bro, being a
do
dude.
you think Joe Biden would know he's paddleboarding?
Yikes.
He wouldn't.
They would never let
stand
him.
up. He'd be on his knees the whole
They
time.
wouldn't let him. He can't go up the stairs.
Nah, yeah, that's true.
He goes up the stairs technically, but he's stumbling up the stairs.
Dude, that video was. Do you remember that video?
Which one? There's like two of them now.
The one where he trips and then tries to speed up to because I've done that. I've tripped and then try to make it look like I didn't trip and then I tripped again.
So that's kind of a one of us thing, right?
Yeah, that's a one of
if
us.
there's a sitting president, though, why would they want to challenge that from the same camp? Like, that's never happened before, right?
Like them over them?
Yeah, no one's ever successfully primaried a.
Usually, a sitting president has a high chance of continuing their reign for the next term.
That fool is old as fuck.
So RFK, he doesn't have a shot at being the main guy.
I don't think it's likely.
Because they're not going to let him debate, so that means he's not going to get a platform on the national stage against Biden.
Yeah.
Then, on the Republican side, Trump's not going to debate. Like, there's already talk about him not debating DeSantis, even when DeSantis announces.
Really?
Because he's polling so much higher than the guy, so why would he like invite him on the stage. But then again, it's Trump. You never know with the guy. He
But
might
is
just
it-
do it.
I thought they're supposed to have a primary run though. Like
They are.
because the challenging side is supposed to have a primary debate and run, right?
Yeah, but I mean, Trump could just. I mean,
He doesn't need that.
He doesn't need it. And a couple things happened the last time too. Like Trump didn't do the second debate. Remember that? Like there was 3 debates scheduled, and he canceled on the second one.
He's like, we already got it in the bag. What's the point?
Well, no, he had COVID, if you remember. But then it was also found out, like around that time, we even covered it at the time, that the guy who was interviewing him used to like be a Joe Biden intern, like back in the day.
Oh.
I was like, that's fucking weird, right? So, but they're basically saying, I mean, if you remember what happened with Hillary Clinton against Bernie, the way that they structured the superdelegates and the way that they apportioned funding from the DNC, they purposely kicked Bernie out, like suppressed his campaign as much as they could. They actually admitted to doing that later on. The woman named Donna Brazil, she was the head of the DNC during that, and came out in her book and said that they did that. So there's people saying, why would they let Kennedy run? Like, why would they let Kennedy primary Biden?
If he's anti-establishment, yeah.
Anti-war, anti-establishment, anti-big pharma.
Right. That's interesting.
But maybe that's low-key trending in this time frame.
It seems like there's an undercurrent, right?
Yeah.
But also, wouldn't that just split the vote for the Democratic? Like, if
100%.
your highest chance to win is to keep your president,
Yeah, keeping the
to
seat.
keep the seat, keep it status quo.
Well, you said something dope earlier in the other video where sometimes it's not so much about like Republican and Democrat. Sometimes more like establishment, anti-establishment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just kind of trying to read between the lines and figure out what's going to be the best representative.
I think for the people, we would all like it to be disrupted and changed because the old guard's been in power too long, exploiting us, right? But then I'm thinking, like, if you were an old guard Democrat and if you wanted to stay in power, you didn't want the Republicans, to have that seat, then it's like, it just makes more sense to leave Biden up there, even if you got to pretend that he's not got dementia and you can speak coherent sentences.
What would you guys say is, let's go around the room, the number one topic, like, or the number one issue that you want fixed right now that you would vote for?
Oh man.
Oh man.
Little boys being able to go into little girls' bathrooms.
Yeah, me too.
That's the number one most important thing for me.
Me too.
Like, there's nothing else because we're such a good country and there's nothing else to really
Yeah, I
talk
agree
about.
with that.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Making it easier is not the right word, but having a better gun roster for California.
A what?
A better gun roster for California.
What does that mean?
Meaning, like, the gun roster that we currently have is pretty shit, and also the laws in place for California are more in favor of the criminals. It's very difficult to protect
Okay.
yourself.
Got it.
Like, you want to put more guns on the ban list.
I want a Gatling gun.
And ban more guns.
Yeah.
Only wants to ban more guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want criminals to have, more
Nunchucks.
freedom.
It does.
Criminals.
Especially for
It does
vehicular
feel like
style.
they care more about the criminals than the victims.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
really difficult to even
Yeah.
like protect yourself at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even at this point, it's like a catch and release situation. So
Yeah, that's a big.
But would you say that's a federal
Crime
or
is,
that's a state specific?
Well, maybe if.
yeah,
it
that's
is-
true.
it
It's
is
probably
state
the state
specific.
Because some states.
But I asked, well, yeah, that's a fair answer.
Yeah.
Because the question I asked is like, what's the number one issue you'd vote?
But it would be nice if there was some kind of thing that prevented states from being allowed to be soft on crime. But whatever.
It's interesting.
I think it's very, very difficult to like wrap this into a single thing, but like the growing wealth divide. What personally affects us is most of us are like, I guess we would be classified as like the middle class, which is the one that pays the most and like receives the least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with this growing like higher oligarchy of American wealth, you know what I mean, and legislation and all that stuff in favor of like the 1%, and then this growing, poor economy out here that's like people are getting kind of fucked. It's just going to create more division. It's going to create much more crime. It's going to create a lot of those things. So when things like an RFK talks about like, going against big pharma or even like being like anti-war, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to blanket it and be like, yo, I'd rather us be anti-war, but it is a weird thing to try and put your money somewhere else outside of the country when there's like a lot of financial problems inside the country too. So.
Yeah. My number one thing would be, I don't know how on earth this could be possible, but to, in some way, to limit the damage that can come from media.
That would be incredible.
And I have no clue how.
Yeah, because like, how are you gonna like filter through?
No chance
free
in hell.
speech?
From manipulated media, not like people like obviously just when it's so clear that the script is.
Yeah, but it's like who's the judge of that?
Well, in the 90s, there was a law where every media or like news outlet had to report 30% of the opposition. So there was
Interesting.
It wasn't such an echo chamber where they can all be behind like one thing. It was like we had a little bit more like moderate thinking because they were required to do that. And I think at some point they removed that law.
It was like when Clinton got in, I think. It was called the Fairness Doctrine, I think.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, that's stuff that is
Yeah, I don't know what could.
talked about enough.
I don't know a solution to that.
Federal level, I do think that like things like PBS, like education channels for children, something like
supported by viewers like you.
now we don't watch TV anymore, but we're all online now, right?
Yeah.
So then kids can grow up just watching entertaining content and not educational content. But I do think like the way you heal a country or fix it is to continuously raise the bar for the lowest members of society. So like if the poorest people of today live better than the poorest people of 100 years ago, then we're doing a good job. And we just got to keep pushing that bar. But also like in the future, we're not going to have manufacturing and labor and like just straight blue collar jobs, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting thing in the future because it's like, are we going to have AI? Are we going to have, because the world still needs people to fix the bridges, fix the roads, and that's disappearing. So like the infrastructure is getting fucked up. You don't have like blue collared work programs for youth. So like wood shop working,
Electricians,
all that stuff.
yeah.
All of that stuff. It's like we rely mostly on like immigrant labor or a dying American population that's in it right now. So it's like, what's gonna happen in the future when everyone just knows how to use computers and no one knows how to
Fix a computer.
build, all that stuff. Yeah,
We're just innovated out of a job.
yeah.
That's actually a really good point.
And also like like the without religion, that was balancing the more ethical, moral, and like
Yeah, it was like a moral compass.
right, like and then so now how do we I guess I don't know if replacing is the word, but figuring out a uniform thing that connects Americans together because we're too damn divided.
Yeah, that's
living too far away where we look at each other as like you're the enemy. Democrats and Republicans used to
100%.
fight, but not like you're a different country, you're trying to take over.
Well, they used to pretend to fight.
They used to pretend to fight.
Same shit.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, yeah.
I think there's also the whole like thing of somehow getting rid of the illusion that there's elite intelligence in defiance. Like just because you're disagreeing doesn't mean that's the smartest thing to say.
Yes.
Which I feel like everybody kind of gravitates to that now. They're just like, oh, I need to say the thing no one's saying in the comments in order to stand out and be like the smartest thinker. It's like kind of further divides an already divided issue.
Yeah.
For me, healthcare. Big time.
Bro,
Oh, major.
Healthcare.
it's bullshit.
It's insane in America, bro.
We don't have healthcare. We have sick
Insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
Insurance companies are.
And they're
Damn,
never reined
yeah.
in. They're never reined in, ever.
They're making everyone fight with everybody. Doctors fight with the hospital. Hospitals fucking fight with patients. Like no one's getting good care.
People with cash are.
care. That's right.
And you have to have a fuckload of that.
Also,
God.
healthcare is really difficult when just the overall health in general is bad.
Yeah.
It's like spiraling.
That's true. We need a.
I think I've lost hope, you guys.
We need updated education on nutrition,
Yeah.
like the food pyramid. That thing that the FDA came out with. That was ridiculous.
How they finally let
They were
Cocoa
telling-
Puffs not be a healthy
Dude,
thing.
the factory farms fucking wrote that shit, dude.
They funnel people into that mindset.
Yeah. Drink
But they're so young.
Yeah.
It's good for your bones.
At least now there's like a step towards that direction of finding truth in that pyramid.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the problem with America though is everything's for sale. So our politicians, everything.
Yeah.
So it's not like other countries where they're literally like okay, these things are off limits. These things are for our people, the longevity of their health. There's actually some type of ethics behind it. For us, it's all for sale.
There's
Green that is sacred.
We have oligarchies too. Everyone
Yeah.
likes to talk about the Russian oligarchies. I'm like, dude, that is the American system, bro. It's called crony capitalism.
Yeah.
Same shit.
But then there is a backfire to that whole thing when, like, let's say you've heard all your life to drink milk or eat potatoes like crazy, but your state makes the most potatoes. So your state is rich because they're exporting and they have this whole thing and this whole program.
marketing behind
So
it.
then the more you push back on that, the less revenue you actually are going to make for your environment, and that is kind of a pushback or a backfire.
Like if you're a candy state.
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like if you make cane sugar.
Right.
Or something, and then now it's like everyone's not eating sugar.
Right.
Guess what? Your state now has less money, so it's like kind of like
Oh, people are gonna
There
start.
is a catch-22.
you have to like fix the entire economy first.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Like they say, the pharmaceutical industry, the healthcare industry, but then if you wipe it out all at once, what are people
Yeah.
going to do to replace that income?
right.
Yeah.
Like we can't have a usurping of a revolutionary kind of thing where you just switch sides, because that never historically went well for anybody.
Or
Create a bunch of government jobs.
Or
Wait, is this supposed to be a long video?
Yeah, oh dear.
Oh, it's an OTR.
Oh, okay.
Or GR.
or
What is the or?
No, that's it.
or it's just like a simple answer to a complicated question.
I think as long as you go bit by bit and then try to reduce corruption, that's nice.
Well, like you know what I think it is.
Civil War.
That's
Where would you start? Is the question.
I think okay, so this is
With
this,
corruption.
this is my
the
kind of
corruption.
barometer for morality
Corruption
behind this,
inception.
right? Is like, is the short-term gain worth the long-term detriment? And if we're talking about nation building, it's like, is having half the population hooked on pharmaceuticals good for the future?
Okay, yeah.
No, right? Because you want. So, like for example, like in Japan, the first 3 years of schooling for children is just learning how to civilize them. They clean up the classrooms, they learn the rules of the road, and they learn etiquette and then that's why you have independent kids at like 5-6 years old running errands, going all this stuff, right? But also they don't have the same threats. They don't have kidnapping the way that we do.
Oh,
They
yeah,
don't have
for
the
sure.
Sex trafficking and all that in the same.
Must be nice.
So whatever, right? So, but the focus of the nation, and some people argue that this is what happens when you get a homogeneous nation, because then everyone's looking at each other as like family and the same people, and you're not exploiting each other.
Yeah.
Whereas America, it's like maybe the ones in power are like, they're not one of us.
There's
they're
no
not our
default
family.
cultural
No.
value.
So the level of how much they can exploit each other is like, well, they're not our tribe, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
But the longevity, I feel like when you invest in your people that way, the long-term benefits behind that outweigh the short-term gain of whatever you can make. But I think we're a very short-term gain country because it's a young country compared to a country like China, right? Where they could plan shit for 100 years straight, and they're probably gonna win because they don't have so much infighting.
Yeah, they're not allowed to deviate from the 100-year plan.
Exactly, where we're just trying to do small gains within our lifetimes. Who the fuck cares happens to our ancestors?
Right.
But when you think in terms of the way that like China or just that old cultures, they think long term. They think generationally. They go, I'm gonna buy a house and give it to my great grandkids, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like when you're thinking more independent and just you, individualist cultures, you don't think about how is this gonna go down the line. You just think like, I'm gonna make a fuck ton of money, I'm gonna ball out, and then maybe I'll give it to my kids if they deserve it. So it's a different mentality, I think.
We also think we have to make a fuck ton of
Shaq.
money because we do have to make a fuck ton of money because like
Right, you have no
healthcare-
Choice. Yeah.
You have no shot. You have to be a freaking star in whatever you do.
And if you do make money, you're getting taxed up and out the asshole about it.
Seriously.
And the IRS is such a wild system too. Like the amount of notices you get, like in the most random ways, if you're a business owner,
Yeah.
you're just like, whoa, I have another fee.
Dude,
Yeah, well,
Oh my god, yeah.
yeah.
anytime I get an envelope from the IRS, my heart's beating out of my fucking
Same.
And I'm like, oh, but it's nothing at the end of the day.
Also,
But it's-
they're real quick to take your payment, but real slow to give you.
oh
your-
yeah, fucking jerks, dude. I respect you guys. I'm just kidding. Don't, dude. Just don't
Yeah,
check my
you're right.
taxes.
It is very like difficult to get a leg up, even if you're doing everything right.
That's what I hear the most from everybody.
But like as I get older, I totally get why people. Because when I was younger, I used to be like, why are the people so evil, man? And then as I get older, I'm like, oh, dude, I would if I had the opportunity to sell out, I totally would.
Right?
And be a corrupt guy.
Be on CNN getting like $30,000 a day.
Hell
to fucking
yeah.
say a bunch of drivel. No problem. Sign me the fuck up.
That's true.
Fuck it.
This is me shooting my shot, right?
Yeah,
Because
it's
it
like
almost feels like fighting that is so hard.
Yeah.
Because that's how the world works.
well, yeah, and it is true that like you can't really condemn others until you have had the opportunity.
It's for real.
Like when you have all these protesters that are like, how dare they?
Yeah.
But were they in the same position? It's hard to say they would decline it.
I mean, I feel like everyone's just trying to feed their family, right?
Right, everyone's looking out for
That's
their own.
really their goal.
Or themselves.
Or themselves. And
Or
everyone
they're trying
finds a way to justify their actions because it's the responsibility is split. Like it's not just all on you.
Right.
That's the thing. If everybody was taken care of, you would have more choices to make choices.
Well, some people would argue that people are taken care of. That's the difference, right? So
that's
like,
true, too.
like in America, like our poorest people are actually the richest people of the world. So if you compare poverty in America, they still wealthier than the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So then it's like if you're looking at a global scale, the people that are empowered, they're like, well, you should be grateful. You still live better than someone in this third world country.
I think we should be judged by how we take care of the people with the least in our society. And every time I drive by the tent cities,
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, we are not doing shit for these people.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Where does the money go? I would love to know.
But it's hard to do things for people who don't want to do things for themselves.
There's also that.
True.
yeah.
That's
also true.
I like looking at one level above that and just the people that are working like 5 jobs.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, we can help them.
I see that a lot, bro.
Yeah.
Not American usually.
We could maybe not tax them as hard. That'd be nice. The amount of jobs.
That's like a middle class life in Hawaii, dude. So in Hawaii, like it's ranked 42 state for job opportunity.
Oh, congrats.
But it's like top 3 of like how expensive it is, right? So a middle class life out there is lower middle class on the mainland. You have to make like 80 to 100K to live.
and
like
it sucks because those are the natives.
yeah,
Like the natives can't live in their own.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Dude, look at us, bro. You can have foreign money come in, buy property. Foreign governments can buy property in America.
Yeah.
Price out the locals. Like everybody, you can't buy a house in America very easily anymore. They just raised interest rates again. Yeah. Right? So then you're competing not just with your neighbors and other people who are working, but you're competing with foreign governments. Like,
Yeah.
But that's what I mean is there's no
Cash
loyalty.
buyers.
Everything is for sale in America.
in Bali, you can't buy property if you're a foreigner. You're not allowed
Same
to.
with Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how come
So the
they can
locals
have
aren't
those
priced out.
rules, but we can't have those rules? Is because the people that run or own America, they're like, let the most, like
The most money win.
Yeah, most money win. They don't care if you're Chinese or Saudi Arabian or whatever. They don't give a
And
damn.
when people bring this up, they go, "Oh, well, you just don't want that race to buy property." It's like it's a government, dude. It's the oligarchs in Russia.
Yeah.
It's just so funny how they use those issues to just like make people shut up.
Or these corporations that are expanding their portfolios by buying every house in your immediate radius. That's insane.
Yeah,
Right.
that's fucked.
But BlackRock's kind of chill too, though.
They're American, aren't they? Oh, cool.
BlackRock,
Hey.
Yeah, brother.
Kinda chill.